So stop talking about your PayPal accounts. Okay, we are back. We are back in the exciting finale of this adventure, which is going wonderfully well at the present moment in time. Rurik is bashing against trying to stop fire, which is very good and very well done. And Bazooka and Julius is heading off trying to find silver weapons. I presume you're going to try to find silver weapons first, and then if in doubt find something that you can make into silver weapons.
Start looting the silverware at the end.
Yeah, and things like that.
Or at least melt some, see if we can melt some down so I can dip my sickles into them.
Yeah, and Eravol and Tenariel. Eravol has Hunter's Mark on the werewolf, which means that he can actually see it up to an hour, so he can carry on and track it as it heads back off in the general direction you think, guys, of the forest. Now, just while we're doing this, please remember there is a vote going on in the chat at the present moment in time, that you can vote for your favourite character, not your favourite player, your favourite character, who you think is the best character. So I've put them all up there. You can choose between Julius is number 1, Bazooka is number 2, Tenariel number 3, Eravol is number 4, Rurik is number 5, and whoever wins at the end actually gets a free point of inspiration next week. And you notice Rurik used his this week, I think. So that's it. So let's do one thing at a time here. So I'll come back to people. First thing I need to know, Eravol and Tenariel, I need to know your movement rates. Because obviously, if you're going to keep up with this wolf, if I need to match your movement rates to his movement rate. So even though you know where it is, you're going to have to keep up with it. So that's the first thing that we need to do.
35.
35, same.
Cool. Excellent. Okay.
And I get, well, if we get out of the town into the forest, my natural explorer will allow me to keep us moving even if there's rough terrain or difficult terrain.
Okay. So the other thing I need to know, and I need to know what your plan is. For example, if this wolf suddenly thinks, hang on, there's 2 people following me, and turns round to attack you, say, is it a case that you're going to fight it, or is it a case that you're going to turn around and start running back with it chasing you? What is your plan of action? That's what I need to know.
My intention was to actually use stealth because I've got pretty good proficiency in stealth as well.
Cool.
But I didn't know. I mean, I haven't been able to discuss this with Scenario following me. If that changes anything.
I'm not proficient in stealth, but I'll follow behind you at a distance if need be.
So the idea is to follow it, but just keep following it. And I think, does it last for an hour?
This spell lasts for an hour. If I gain sight of him towards the end of that, I can cast it again because I still have 2 more spell slots.
Yeah. Okay then.
So I can use all 3 of them on Hunter's Mark.
Is it the idea? What's the range of it? That's what I need to know. 90 feet. So
the 90 feet is for casting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tell me why that's not an issue.
Well,
if
tracking it, it doesn't matter if it gets out of that 90-foot range. I can still track it. It doesn't lose effect.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, for example, is that if the werewolf is moving faster than you, it will increase it will naturally increase its range on you. So what I was going to say to you is that, are you going to get to the point that it's actually, how far are you going to let it get away from you before you actually recast Hunter's Mark? Are you going to...
No, Hunter's mark, I have to have line of sight, right?
Yeah.
Mark.
I think so.
No, I guess it doesn't say. It just says within. I have to be within 90 feet of it to recast it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that if I am able to keep up with it, I get sight of him again, then I can recast it. My Natural Explorer will give me the ability to determine how old tracks are. So if I'm tracking it, if there is any indication of where he's been there, I can tell how far. If that number is increasing, obviously this plan isn't going to work.
So the wolf actually has a faster movement rate than you guys. So what I'm saying is that how far are you going to let it get ahead of you before you recast the hunter's mark on it?
80.
80 foot, yeah? And then carry on that, so forth and so on, yeah? And then
yes, if I'm still within 80 feet of it, towards the end of an hour.
Yeah.
But if he's, okay.
Well, technically, every round, you are going to move 35 foot, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's going to move 40 foot.
Okay.
So so at the end of the first round, it's going to be 5 foot ahead of you. And then
so every minute he's gaining 50 feet on us?
Yeah.
He's not necessarily going to be running all night. He might just run for 20 minutes and hide up somewhere. We're still
especially
tracking
if he doesn't
him.
know he's being followed.
Yeah, and that's the other issue that is
we won't know. So
no, and I'm just sort of like telling you now because that's the other thing is what we're going to have to do is match your stealth because quite naturally because he's a wolf, his sense of smell and hearing is quite acute. So there is that issue as well. So I was just trying to, and the other issue that I was thinking about just in the break is the issue of fatigue. Because I was trying to think of how long can you actually go for and keep going for without, I was just thinking about, Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn when they're chasing the hobbits, I was just thinking, how long realistically can you go without, and I wondered what your constitutions were.
11.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
My con is 10.
Right. So, really and truly,
What guard?
Really and truly, it's going to get to the stage that Tenariel, you might not be able to. What I don't want to do is go through roles on everything. I'm trying to think of it as the bigger picture. There's going to get to the point, Tenariel, that you are not going to be able to keep up. You're going to be the first person who sort of like says, "I can't keep up."
Are you saying the dwarf is the best at running long distance?
Yeah, they're designed for long distance running, but so when it gets to that point, Tenariel, what's your plan of action?
I'll slow down. If I fall behind, I fall behind, but I'm very good at tracking, so I'll follow Aravol's trail.
Okay, then.
And keep going.
So you're both just going to head off, and until when? Give me an idea about the accumulation of when you're actually going to stop or give up or start to turn around. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I just need to get a general idea. So it might be that you say we'll carry on tracking it both separately until this happens, it starts to rest up. Or if that doesn't happen, we start tracking it until it goes into the forest, or once it does something.
If I fall behind, I'll keep going until I catch up to Aravol, regardless.
Okay, good point. Okay, thank you. What about you, Aravol?
And I also told Tin Man, Julius, that we would mark our trail as we went, and the way of doing that without slowing us down, I was thinking was making notches in trees with my hand apps at certain points to make it easier for all of them to follow.
That's absolutely fine, but that doesn't answer my question.
Oh well, I just mean if he's going to fall behind, then he'll still have an easier time catching up, just at a slower pace.
Yeah, I need to know what you are going to do. So how far are you going to carry on? Are you going to just track him, the wolf, endlessly?
If it comes to it, if he doesn't stop, I will go until I'm exhausted.
Okay.
I'll then rest, see if they catch up. If they don't, then I'm going to keep following.
So just to let you know, both of you are probably going to be separated and probably in the forest. If you remember, Clarion sits on a river, and the path goes back away from the river, and then it goes into a forest on your right hand side. And this is where the group before encountered the spiders and the bears and things like that. So it's not an elven glade forest. It's a nasty forest, if that makes sense. So both of you will be deep inside that forest by the time, obviously Tenario, you'll be the first person who sort of like wheezing and sort of like trying to catch your breath will actually say, go on, I'll follow you. I can do my normal tracking skill. And Ervol, you will pursue even further. And this werewolf appears to have almost like a natural amount of energy,
stamina.
And stamina, and it even to the point. And even though you do lose the track every now and again, because you suddenly see that it's actually jumping up onto sides of trees and then hopping through the branches for a while, then coming back down. And it doesn't seem to be following an exact path. It just seems to be going in random direction. It's not like following a path. It's going through the deepness of the forest, which is good and it's allowing your natural pursuing skills that allows you to cross over difficult terrain. And it's probably only because of that you're actually being able to follow it. You do follow it it's not minutes that you're following it, it's actually for hours. Mm-hmm. And every now and again the wolf stops and lets out a howl, and it's the first time it does it, you hear it and you probably stop for a while and you don't hear anything else. But the second time it does it, you sort of like hear far off to your left, you hear like an echoing return howl. And then the next time it does it, you hear an echoing sound from not only the left but from the right. And it's almost as if it's collecting something or calling things to it. You've probably been following it now for a good 6 hours, and you are really deep within the forest. Tenario, you're quite a way behind, but tracking and following up. So we'll nip now back to the town, okay, because we've got some work to do here. So Rurik, you with your blanket, you bash away at the building, and a lot of other guardsmen come out and try help you stop the actual fire. Okay, Julius and Bazooka, what would you like to do?
Shall we go to the blacksmith first?
Yeah.
See if there's anything there that we can find that's weapons or ingots or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. So
silver.
so the blacksmith is quite deserted, obviously because of the plague. The forge isn't on. There's a variety of weapons hanging up. Does any of you have a sort of like a skill that would help you identify which is the metal ones? Or do you just want to use your perception
I'm
one?
sort of a master in all weapons, so I'm guessing if I'm a master in all weapons,
I
would know what they're made of.
I think that allows you to fight with all weapons. I didn't know whether or not, like some people have history. Does any of you have like blacksmithing as a skill?
I'm
No.
proficient with smithing tools.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if I'm fighting with weapons, or if anyone's fighting with weapons, you would know what you're fighting with.
I think your proficiency is with fighting with weapons, not making weapons.
You can probably
Oh no,
tell the
I'm not
difference between a
saying
long
I'm
sword
not
and a
saying
short
I'm
sword.
making
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm sure I would recognize if it was iron or tin or.
Yeah, it's if
Silver.
we had a
Okay, then,
picked up
so
some-
that's fine then. So roll your intelligence, because that's what it would hit back onto.
Okay.
I just didn't wonder. I wondered whether or not any of you had a sort of like a blacksmithing. So Bazooka sort of like spends some time looking around the blacksmith, using his skill of using a whole load of weapons, using his knowledge, his intelligence, and sort of like looks around and sort of like turns around to you, Julius, and says, "No, there's no silver weapons here, none here at all."
do I believe him?
Yeah, I mean he is a master of weapons. Remember.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can still make your own investigation. You're both searching
Yeah.
the blacksmith.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if
Sorry,
if you find- if you're-
Cryptex. I assume that's what they were doing, so I took the advantage
you
of.
took-
I took the advantage of the roll.
Never mind. I'll stay out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took the 8 rather than the 4 because that was the advantage.
Can I see? So there's no weapons there, but are there any?
Oh, there's plenty of weapons.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any silver ingots that we can use, or silver tools? Anything? Like
No, as far as you're concerned, the blacksmith. The probably the next best thing to do would be to actually try to find the blacksmith, and sort of like ask him if there's any silver weapons in the actual in Clarion. Or
is the blacksmith shop like up against a house? They normally live like right next to their.
yeah, you're right. He does actually live right next to his house, but his house is one of those that is actually boarded up with the red cross over it at the present moment in time.
I turn to Bazooka. Shall we try the church to see if the bloke does these weapons here is up there?
Yeah, do whatever.
So we then run to the church.
Cool. Okay then. So, let's say, for example, that he hasn't succumbed to the fungal plague. We'll cut you some slack, and he is coming round from the fungal plague, and he says to you, just like Aravol was saying beforehand, he doesn't actually have any silver weapons, but if you collected some silver items, he would be able to melt them down and probably make some things for you. Probably, depending how much silver you find for him, probably a couple of arrowheads, maybe some kind of a dagger or a knife. But if you wanted, it would take quite a bit of silver to actually forge a sword, rather than, and probably good quality silver as well. He says the other, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Have we finished with him, or
If you want to ask him anything, yeah, no, it's up to you.
I ask him if he knows any such items within the village?
He says many of the rich people, like the mayor, maybe the sheriff, yeah, they might have some silver goods in their actually abode, in the houses, and they might be able to do it.
I turn to Bazooka then. Shall we try the mayor?
Yeah. If you want, we'll split up. You go to the mayor, I go to the sheriff.
Yeah.
I have to rob him anyway.
I tap him on the shoulder. Killing. But it's like, for me, I don't want to steal because that's against my.
Well, yes, Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll do it then.
But I can't have him do it in the knowledge that I know that he's going to do it either, because again, I have to.
It's for the greater good.
The greater good.
So yeah, go
Does it
for it.
count as stealing if they're already dead? You can find out if the people that have died and just go to their houses.
So you do have two ways that you could. Well, you have three ways of doing it. The first way you could do it is actually with a persuasion check, and so you could do that, which is the nice way. Which I think, Julius, you're quite good at that, because I think naturally paladins' charismas are quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a nice way of doing it. The second way to do it would be an
Intimidation.
an intimidation check, which is a little bit more bruising than the perception. So perception is almost like saying nice words. Intimidating is a lot more threatening. You know, if you don't give it to me, this will happen. Then the other way to do it is just like a normal charisma check for anybody who doesn't have those skills. And then finally, the fourth way is just to hack his head off and take his silver. So
I'm going to go the nice route.
cool.
Being the nice guy that I am.
Yeah. So you sort of like knock on the mayor's door, and luckily there's not a red cross on this door. And if you remember, he's quite an elderly man, and he comes down with his sort of like his nightgown on, and his sort of like his sleeping cap on, and he sort of like peers at you in the night air and sort of like goes, "Yes."
Sorry to disturb you, Sir Mayor. We seem to have a little problem with. I look around, make sure no one's around.
Yeah. We don't want to invoke village panic. Yeah.
Yeah. Beast werewolf problem that we're trying to sort out.
He says we have a werewolf problem in the town.
I kind of fill him in with the captured. Fill him in with the captured. What has happened?
Oh, he says, "Is it still in the town then, or has it left?"
Currently, it has seemed to have left. However,
It's still in the town.
Yeah, he just tells him. I kind of look at him, look at Bazooka. It's like. And we were wondering if we could use your silver to create weapons to battle and kill this beast.
Oh, right. Roll your persuasion now.
Okay.
Just so you know, the DC is 12.
Okay.
Oh, I really don't.
Isn't Big Beastie helping him?
I was gonna say, could I not like
Is it
give him
in
the
this
advantage?
situation?
Like, tell him, look, this beast has got big fangs and scary and stuff.
So let's.
It's gonna run through your village and probably kill everyone.
And
If
the
we don't
fact that
stop it.
it can turn other people into werewolves as well.
Yeah, the only issue with that, Vol, would be that he's not actually proficient in persuasion or intimidation. He's proficient in stealth, survival, athletics, and deception. So, I think it's hard to.
Well, hold
sort of,
on. He did intentionally deceive him during that speech about telling him the werewolf is still in the town. So he could potentially make a deception check to help bolster Julius as well.
So you want him to make a deception check. So you want them to lie to.
I'm not.
Well, yeah. So Julius, it's up to you. Cryptex is in the middle of the forest, but by all means, you decide what you want to do. So you can either go with the roll, Julius, or you can take on Ervol's advice and Thimibob. Bazooka can roll a deception check with the advantage. Completely up to you.
Just go with it.
I can't.
We failed the roll at the end of the day.
I can't go with it. Because again, paladin.
Okay, so alternatively, Bazooka, what you can actually do is jump in now and actually do some talking to him, and then actually roll your deception, but you wouldn't have advantage with it.
Okay. So I'm going to jump in and say, look, he's being too nice here. Your town or this town is in grave danger. This beast is skirting around the outskirts. Not only have you got a plague on your hand, but now you've got like a werewolf infestation going on.
Okay, go for it. Roll your deception.
Please do it. Maybe I should have blessed you.
Now, Cryptex, is there anything else you want them to do with their roll? You are quite welcome to contribute anything else to get them to get that roll.
This is over the comms. I can hear him over the comms. Sorry, wrong game.
You are totally... Anything else you want to slip in there? Maybe a survival check? Or... athletics, maybe a performance. Maybe Bazooka could do a strange dance.
Can I do athletics and stealth? So, like, I do flip flop, sneak in.
I think what you might want to do is stand in the middle of the street and do that, and see whether or not anybody gives you a silver candlestick. That might be.
Can I go to the bank?
A way forward. There's not a bank, so to speak. Everybody keeps their own money. There is, however.
Coin exchange? Or?
No, they keep there's no. I mean, gold's very rare in Clarion because it's not actually a big town, you know.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do.
I have a lot of
302 gold. I have 302 gold on me.
Yeah,
I want to transform that into silver.
Yeah,
I was trying to change my gold pieces to silver.
Yeah,
pieces.
so we can look at that as an option, but the other option that you've still got open is that you do have the sheriff to go to, if you remember. So you still have that option to go and do the same thing if you wish. So Julius, you can actually go and do exactly the same role with the sheriff. And then Bazooka, if that doesn't work, you can also make a deception roll and see whether or not you can convince.
Okay.
Is the persuasion? Hey,
yes. See, you don't need to. So the sheriff is quite worried, and if you remember, he's quite a rotund man, you know, who hasn't seen his feet for some years, and he's sort of like quite worried about this, and he sort of like goes around his abode, his house, and he manages to bring back to you 2 candlesticks, a small silver box, and a silver pendant, and he sort of goes, "Take these to defeat the werewolf. Just take them now," you know, and he's quite sort of like pleased that he's helped in the cause of supporting you with this.
I asked before we leave. I asked him if he would like a prayer of over him and his house in thanks for the gifts.
Oh, he says he would love that, with, if at all possible, a splashing of holy water would be absolutely fantastic.
I'd back away.
As well.
I'd back well away from this.
I thought he was going to say if Tenariel could come.
Big beastie. Forged letter of Tenariel to the constable.
So so you've got some silver there. The other way you can get silver is, as Rurik sort of like suggested, is to exchange your gold for the peasants, the people who live here, their silver. and almost like say, you give us 10 silver coins and we'll give you a gold, because gold is quite rare in Clarion because it's sort of like a mediocre village. The villagers are quite happy to do this, but they're quite
Sick.
acute with this, and astute, sorry. They're quite astute with this, and they're not actually willing to, they sort of like say in Clarion, they're not going to give you 10 silver for 1 gold.
They want to make money.
Yeah. They'll actually give you they want to give you 6 silver for
Then
1 gold.
I will say, well, stay here and rot then.
Yeah.
And they say they said that's absolutely fine. No worries.
That's fine by me.
I do take them up on it and give them 10 gold.
Okay, so you can have that. So if you knock off that 10 gold, you can have some silver coins, which will help you you'll probably be able to, from what you've got now, you figure, Rurik, do you have blacksmithing? Is it you that has blacksmithing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Can I know a way to not create weapons from silver, but like coating our weapons with it?
Well, it actually has to be made of silver to affect the werewolf, because if it's just plated, it doesn't actually have the power to sort of like cut through the flesh. But what you can do now is that from what you've got there, you can sort of like thinking, ooh, I know what we can actually make. Okay, and you figure that you've got, and this is the total amount. This is not either or. You figure you've got enough for 4 arrowheads, okay, and you've got enough for more of a silver knife rather than a dagger. So quite a. If I say like, is it a Bowie knife? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
A Bowie knife, yeah. Quite not a flimsy dagger, quite a substantial knife.
Butter knife.
Yeah.
No. Rambo knife.
Like a yeah. So, like a
cookery.
yeah. So
No, not cookery. Just a normal straight blade.
It's a bit shorter than a machete.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's quite a substantial weapon, but it's not. It'll probably do about 1d4 plus 2 amount of damage rather than the normal 1d4, and you'll get 4 arrowheads as well. And the blacksmith does comment that silver weapons are probably more abundant in places like Thorndyke, which is the big nearby town, as you know.
We can't take this infestation. If he's still chasing after us, I don't know that he's collecting other werewolves to him, but if we go to Thorndyke, he'll come to us, and we can't have that.
Or he'll come to you.
Yeah.
Either
Exactly.
way.
I like the way you use the plural there.
I slipped it in.
Yeah.
Just a
Good
tip.
Okay. Let's.
You do what you want to do. I think my magic penetrated defense.
Yeah, it looked like it actually did. So, Duelist, Bazooka, and Rurik, do you want the blacksmith to start working on these items?
What I was going to ask is, how long's all this taking? Because bearing in mind, Cryptex.
Yeah,
Aravol's still chasing.
Yeah, this is happening at the same time. So they were doing it for about 6 hours. So this is your 6 hours of activity. And then in a second, what I was going to say is that if you want the blacksmith to start working on these, then he will start working on this, and I'll zip back to Aravol and
I was
to
just
Neil.
going to nip off for a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Could I help the blacksmith? It will remind me some good time from the mines.
Yeah. Do you have like a blacksmithing skill or anything like that, or you just
Yes, I'm proficient in
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
smithing.
I wouldn't use that roll if you could. He sort of like says,
It's
"Yes."
not that perfect.
He goes. "Yes, young dwarf. Let's see your your skill with a hammer." And you go, and he says,
And he drops it on
and
his
he
foot.
says, "Go and press the bellows." You just like,
He actually pick up the hammer. He picked up the top.
yeah, he just picked up, and he actually went and it hit himself on the head, and then that was it. So
And now he's sleeping.
and yeah. So that's busy happening in Clarion, and we will zip back to Ereval and Tenariel. So Tenariel, you are at the present moment in time not here, but she is following the trail that you've left Ereval to catch up with you. So that's
How long was she able to keep up with me?
Well, she's. I think her constitution is only like one less of yours, so
Yeah.
she probably lost you in the last hour or something like that.
Okay.
But you have noticed that the werewolf has actually gone into what appears to be some kind of cave, but it's probably more of a barrow. So there's not a huge bit of rock in the middle of nowhere. It looks like there's some kind of burial mound here, and one side of it has been. I'm assuming you're not right next to it. Assuming
Right.
that you're keeping some distance away, but you do notice that it's gone inside it, and it's sort of like there seems to be some kind of well-trodden entrance. And while you're sort of like hanging back and just sort of like keeping an eye on it, and the reason you're doing this is because your keen survival sense is actually picking up other things approaching. And it's before, it's only like a minute before you notice that other wolves start to approach from other directions and go into this cave. A lot of them are scenting it as they go in, and then they seem to go in, and it's quite dark. It seems to go down on quite a steep level. So what else is down there? You think it must be a lot bigger than the actual barrow, because there's quite a few wolves going in there. They're varying in size. Some of them are as big as this first one. Some of them seem to be juvenile wolves. Some of them seem to be female. Some of them seem to be male. You count up to somewhere between 27 up to about 30 odd, all going into this. Some of them are grey. Some of them are brown. Some of them are white. And they all seem to be going down into this barrow. And you notice that you just think that the last one has probably gone into it. When you suddenly notice, make a perception check. Yeah, you suddenly notice that you think the entrance is unguarded, but your keen elven eyes pick up that just inside the entranceway, there's probably 2 werewolves sat there, and they're sat on their haunches. They're not like stood up like weremen or anything like that. They're sort of like sat on their haunches, and you can see that. I mean, using your keen hunter and survival abilities, you sort of like figured out not to be upwind of them and things like that. But so you're quite safe, but they are keeping a very keen eye on what's going on. You also can hear from within the barrow. Every now and again, there's this this almost like echoey howl, as if in agreement, as if to say, yeah, we agree with that. But apart from that, you can't hear any talking or anything like that. Tenariel, you hear a twig snap behind you, and Tenariel appears. So you two are now together, rather hot and sweaty. Your time together in the forest, rather rosy red faces.
When I hear Tenariel, I'll briskly gesture for her to get down, to stay low, and silently point out as much as I can to her what I've seen.
Yeah, so you sort of like points out what. Did you hear it all, Sprocketeer, or not?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah. So that's it.
What time is it now? We've been about 6 hours. It'll be about 4-ish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're probably getting close. The sky's probably just turning now in the distance. So pretty soon you think the sun will be. It's that wonderful time when the sky is actually that bluey, dusky, purpley colour, but the sun's not up yet. But you figure probably in an hour the sun will rise and this area will be bathed in sunlight.
So probably spend about an hour watching this burrow and the activity going on, getting a sense for it, and then falling back the way that we came along that same trail, maybe about 200 feet, and start resting and waiting for the rest of the party to see if they catch up. I will offer Tenario a chance to rest, to meditate while I stand guard, and then switch when she's done, if it gets that long.
Okay. Okay, guys, you need to make... I've got some experience points for you. So where I'm going to stop it at the present moment in time is to say that Julius, Bazooka, and Rurik, you will have the weapons made at when we stop it, and Ervol and Tenariel, you will be at the barrow, as the sun comes up, and at that point. Now, I do have some experience points to give you. I don't know how many experience points you've already got, and whether or not this will take you over the limit. These experience points includes the wolves today. Okay, so it includes the wolves today, and it includes everything from the boars onwards. Okay, so it includes the boars, the harpies, the gargoyles, everything in the room, the water weird, etc., etc. So this is
mansion?
No, you've had that. You've had the mansion.
I did.
Where everybody's had that. So this is your share. Okay, so your share is 860 experience points each. Now, I don't know whether or not does that take you up levels or not?
It does for me. I was at
2030.
3,165.
What's the level, Mark?
2,700 for your 4th level, I believe.
Let me just check so I'm sure, because I don't know.
Yeah. Just hit 3,000.
Yeah, it's for 4th level, it's 2,700.
And then I get an extra 10,000 for self-sacrifice.
Yeah. So who's actually gone to 4th level then? Have you all gone to 4th level?
I need to check mine because I know rock gnomes or unknowns are like harder to level up at the start.
I'm above 4th level.
Should all be on the same.
Yeah, I think. Hang on, because I've got me.
I think it's like 4,000 for my next level. I'm pretty sure it's like 4,000 something.
I think everybody.
I thought all classes were the same. I didn't know there was a racial.
Hang on, I'm just checking.
It's only if like you have a class race like a Minotaur would be like level 1, and we will be level 4.
Yeah, no, there's no difference. No difference at all. So,
really?
So 2,700 would be your... what's yours, Julius? Are you...
He's muted.
All right. I'll just ignore him then.
What were you, big beastie? A rock gnome, did you say?
I'm a rock gnome. Fire.
Why did I think you're a dwarf? I'm sure you were a
That's the
dwarf.
dwarf.
So
Mine's now at 1,765.
you're at what, Si?
1,765.
With the 860?
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because he joined
Later.
later.
No, you joined before I did. I think you missed a round of XP that didn't get added.
I think
I think
Who missed a session?
I know
'Cause
I did.
there was 1 week 3 of us played, and I think was it 2 people were missing.
Like 2 weeks ago, Julius.
Me, Bazooka, and
that was all taken into account with the ability scores. So the thing is, to be honest with you, if everybody needs the same amount, surely you all must have leveled at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was going to say is that Eravol and Tenariel, if you've leveled, okay, then in order to go, because I think you'll get an ability score improve, or a feat.
Or a feat.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm quite happy to allow you to have feats at 4th level if that's what you want to do, because there's some nice ones out there, which I'm
come in handy for running.
I'm quite happy for. I think things like sharpshooter be really nice. The only thing that I would say to you is that if you could let me know what you're thinking about having, so I can have a look at it, just to say, well, hang on a minute, that's way too powerful, or yeah, that's absolutely fine, and then we go for it. The only thing I'm saying though is that Eravil and Tenariel, if you want to level up, then you can't do it in a forest. You're going to have to come back to Clarion to actually level up and, for example, learn your feat, etc., etc. And so, and then we can start off again, because some of you will either have ability scores improves, or you might have feats.
I'm just going to go for ability increases. I think.
Yeah, well, it'd be completely, and even if you got an abilities, which ability score are you planning on increasing to Tenariel?
Wisdom to 18.
Yeah,
that'll give me another point of.
So that's what I'm thinking. So you will spend some time in the church, praying, etc., to gain that wisdom, rather than
the increases that you get from leveling doesn't represent a single overnight. It's everything we've been doing since the last time we leveled.
Yeah, but but that's
homage to the old way of doing D&D, where you.
Yeah, but if you think about that, Eravol, that actually falls short. It's a bit like, say, for example, I've never fired an arrow, and then suddenly say I want sharpshooter. Right. Then that wouldn't pay homage to everything I've ever done. So how I view it is that it is something that you do, and it's something that you learn, but at the same time, you don't just wake up. So, for example, if Bazooka wanted to increase his strength, he's probably been working on that a lot, but if he wanted to increase his intelligence, then he probably hasn't been working on that. So what I do as the DM is that I look at what you want, and so think that's fine. And say, for example, if you wanted to learn how to do twin weapons, say, I might say, right, you need to find a trainer to do that. But if you wanted to do something with your bow, then I would say, well, that's fine, a couple of days practice, and that would actually fit into it quite nicely. So rather than just waking up and it's done, there's that bit of time that you actually work on it. Or you might need a trainer. And that's why I said, let me know what feats you want or ability scores you want to know. And then I can feed it into the game and sort of think, well, that's all right. You need to do that. You need to do that. And then that would be it completed.
But when you level up abilities, I think it's 2. It's I mean,
It's 2 points
it's
or
like,
1 and 2 points.
Yeah.
Scores.
So it's either 2 points on one or 1 point on two. Yeah. So it would be
In
up
the
to you.
future,
Yeah.
when we're planning on leveling up, is this something we can work out ahead of time? Like if we know we need a trainer for a skill that we want to add on at the next level, can we do that as
Yeah,
we're
'cause-
progressing, and then when you hit that level, like, okay, now I've gained this skill that I've been preparing.
I think well, it depends. It depends what it is that you want to level up and how you want to do it. I quite like the idea of the game becoming something that you do in downtime and that you actually work on it, and actually then so it's giving you the opportunity to do other things as well. I quite like the idea of having downtime. For example, Rurik or Julius or somebody might want to spend more time looking at the books, you know, so that might be a downtime action that people can say to me, I really like to do that, you know, rather than just saying the adventure continues non-stop right the way through it. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I think what the best thing to do, if everybody's happy with it, is for Aravol and Tenariel, you know where this place is now. There's quite I don't think it would be a good idea for you guys to wade in at the present moment in time until you've got some kind of weapons to maybe defeat or engage with them. So it's probably a good time for you to come back into town, and then people can let me know in the Discord what sort of like level improvements they want to do, and then if you want to take feats instead of your ability score improved, then that's absolutely fine. And then if you tell me what you want, then I can say no, that's absolutely fine. You know, if Aravol wants to take sharpshooter, I can say, yeah, he's been practicing his bow a lot, so that would be a natural progression. Well, if somebody wants to take something that is completely different, then there would be a gap in there to take some training. Or what I might say, just to follow up on Aravol's point, is that I might say, okay, then you can have that skill. Okay, so if somebody, say for example, Tenariel, you wanted to fight with 2 weapons, and that was a feat that you could get, then I might say, okay, then you can be 4th level, but you won't actually get that feat until you've actually fought with 2 weapons for a period of time. So you need to actually practice doing that throughout the adventures to actually gain that skill. So almost like the same as what Aravol's saying, but in reverse, you know, then that would be it. Okay, guys.
Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, no, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just about to say I found out what I was on about not leveling up properly. It's the fact that I'm a fighter. My next thing is level 7.
Oh no, you're not level 7. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. My next ability is level 7.
Yeah, I think you get. I think as a fighter at level, let's.
I get nothing at level 4.
Yeah, no, everybody.
At level 5, you get an extra attack.
Yeah,
You get a hit point increase, and then you get the ability or the feats.
Yeah, so
Even if you don't have it.
Yeah, so the fighter, you get your ability score improved. You'll get extra hit points, and then you won't gain. You don't get anything else at that point until you get to 5th. You get your extra attack, which is nice, you know, and then it's onward from there. Okay. So we will leave it there for this week and see what. Welcome back, Tenariel. It's lovely to have you back. And I think, Tenariel, you'll have some things to do in the downtime that will be beneficial for you to do. Brilliant. So let's quickly go round and say where people can find you in the coming week. So we'll start off with you, Sprocketeer. Go for it.
Oh, well, where am I going to be? I'm playing Curse of Strahd tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Fuzzy Blue Mushroom Stream.
BST?
Yep. No, oh yeah, whatever. I always get confused with it. We've got 3 different time zones.
Yeah, we're definitely British summertime now, despite the weather.
And then Monday night, 11 p.m. Skageth's first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that being created last night.
I saw you watching it be cremated.
Cremated?
Cremated.
Yeah, Skageth burned it all in disgust.
You know that I think that's probably might be a word you might be using throughout the advantage. Throughout the adventure,
Advantage?
yeah. I was reading something in the chat. That was all.
So lost last session because everything we thought we remembered about first edition. Bear in mind, 37 years ago when we started, we just forgot everything when we sat down to play. We just didn't have a clue what we were doing. It was so strange.
No,
but it's been great fun.
I think that's always the case, isn't it? You sort of like think, and then it'll be interesting how many rules from 5th edition you suddenly think is in first edition, but really and truly they do they have Thaco then in first edition?
In first edition, yeah, that's where it comes from.
So
it took us an hour to find it in the books.
Really, and then you have different tables, don't you? So
oh my god, it's a nightmare.
So fighters actually hit better than magic users.
Every class has its own experience point table, so every class levels at a different pace.
I remember it was. I always remember playing a magic user and finding out that despite only having 1d4 and having darts and one first level spell, I think I had one.
Start with
so
one
it's
spell.
better now.
Oh, it's
my rogue has 1 hit point plus his com bonus, so I started with 2 hit points. Got into a fight, and the guy hit me for 1 point of damage, and I nearly died. 1 point of damage.
And it's Miles. I quite like the idea now. I really love the idea that they did with spells, and the way that I think Unearthed Arcana brought in cantrips was nice, but now a lot of the first level spells that used to be in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons are now cantrips, like light.
My one bug with cantrips is there's no healing cantrips.
No, that is true.
But there's plenty that cause damage.
Yeah,
and I think that's sadly lacking.
What's the minimum? What's cure light wounds? What's the dice on that?
D8.
Yeah, so they could quite easily bring in one that does 1d4.
I mean, the cleric in our party.
Bury a cantrip?
Yeah, that's what I was just.
Yeah, I think so.
It's what side?
Originally.
Good Berry was a cantrip healing spell.
Oh yeah.
It used to be, I think.
No, it's a spell.
It's druid now.
No idea what you're.
So yeah, I used to remember being a first level magic user with my deciding whether or not I should take sleep or magic missile and saving it throughout the dungeon, thinking, do I cast it now? No. Do I cast it now? No. And what weapon do you take? Do you take darts so you can just sort of like lob them right the way through? Anyway, those
first edition was so good.
Those were the days. Those were Thacos, yeah. Okay, and next, Clout, where can we find you?
Muted.
Muted.
You can find me in this lovely game of Finwells.
Yeah.
And you can also find me in all those streamers there.
Yeah, you pop in very well, and it's always nice to see you. And in Discord as well. It's lovely. Excellent. Oh, let me do some shout outs while you're talking, because I always forget about that. And Big Beast, Sprocketeer, do you stream it?
All the games I'm in are streamed, yes. The D&D first edition's on Skageth's.
Oh, right. I'll put Skageth's up then. Right. And Big Beastie.
Okay, I am Big Beastie. You can find me on my channel sometimes playing lots of different games. Seeing I'm a variety streamer that doesn't just play. Anyway. You can also find me on a Tuesday in this channel playing some Shadowrun, and And everyone else's that streams here, I'll be in their channels lurking or doing stuff and things.
Excellent. And across there, down there to Flat Battery.
Hi guys, I'm Flat Battery. You can find me on my channel, twitch.tv/Flat Battery, with a link provided as well. I'm a variety streamer that does try to do other games as much as he can, when life doesn't take over. Later on, I'm going to try to see if PUBG works. If it doesn't, I'll be moving on to a squad.
Are you actually going to stream after this, even though you've got company tonight?
I did ask for permission.
Wow, you need permission. Wow, how exciting.
Is he married?
She's got a book. Sorry.
She's got a what?
The leisure state.
She's
got a
got.
book.
I thought she said she's got a butt, as in a B-U-T-T. I was like, I'm pleased to hear it.
Definitely got one of them.
Oh, ouch. Okay, and moving on. Just down there, we have Cryptex81.
Yes, you can find me on my channel as well. Actually, tomorrow morning for me, it'll be 5 p.m. GMT. I'll be picking up with the next round of Walking Dead New Frontier.
Yeah.
And I may be streaming some Hitman after that as well.
Fantastic. Excellent. And you can find me here because this is my channel. And I will be back tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock BST, when I will be continuing to struggle playing Elder Scrolls Online, trying to level my Templar, that is a healer, and spends a lot of time kiting and dying. But I am not giving up. I'm going to carry on. I'm 36, so I'm over halfway. I'm going to make it. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming along to support the channel tonight. I really do appreciate you turning up. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we will be back next Saturday at 8 o'clock. As the adventure continues. Maybe we'll have some new characters because players will have the option now to swap if that's what they wish to do before we start off the next part of the campaign. But the rest of them will be 4th level with new ability scores, new feats. So they will be absolutely unstoppable. Until then, I would just like to say to each and every one of you, have fun, guys. And I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself waffled. See ya. Bye.
Bye.